Train, you've driven your golden spike into the dark night of my soul. Train, you carry my death in the smoky breath of your cities. Train, you're the iron horse, the ironic force that sped up the nightmare of history, our genocidal mystery. Train, it'll be a great day when this wobbly, depressed hobo poet riding the rods finds you're carrying peace. Train, mine eyes have been watching you closely. Train, this is now a new freedom train, the new swing low, sweet Harriet Tubman train. No high noon killers on this train, no death nor internment camp counselors on this train. This is no bourgeois train. This is the Woody Guthrie bound for glory train. This is the Lead Belly train, the A train, the A. Philip Randolph Pullman Porter train, the John Colt train, the Ain't I a Woman Sojourner Truth train, the Great Day in the Morning Peace train, train, train. Again the dead of winter, whispering in tongues, the song of grief on the chill air. These bare black stick-figured trees, their wild gestures of prayer, stark against the pink of heaven. The day you died, I was in California in the Bay Area, walking about North Beach, wondering whether I was still on the path that led me here as a young man. I flew home, arriving in time to answer the phone, to learn you were breathless, that the breath had left your body, was in the treetops waiting like a bird for the light, for the first green leaf of spring, to be transformed once more and return his life in the lungs, in the blood, in the deep heart's core. Perhaps I myself might breathe you in and sing. Steve, you know it was on James Dean's birthday you died, and I imagine you two tooling around the city together down these gritty industrial streets through neighborhoods of hard lives, of ancient grandmothers, their soft voices still sounding young in kitchens of hot coffee, fresh bread, good soup. I can see you both cool in your shades, trailing cigar smoke, joking, swapping stories of Indiana and Tennessee, going into Mitzi's. You introduce Jimmy, order a white Russian, head for the green felt to rack him up, to break another heart. Dean calls you back, needs change for the jukebox, presses J8, UL2. You've each picked Stardust, it's on there twice. At that, you both laugh. You glance out the window, utter something I can't quite catch. Grab Jimmy, someone unlocks the door. You step out, look up in the sky. Suddenly, all the human sorrow you felt is remembered and forgiven in a Cleveland second in the beautiful falling snow. Ohio, I'm following you down the road. I'm tailgating you. I'm so close I can read your license plate. It says you're the heart of it all. But it seems your heart has turned arctic cold with 6 months of darkness, 6 months of light. Who can make it through when a half year of days is one long, cold, black night? Who can survive to praise the light? All is gray now. The sky is filled with waves of gulls, the airwaves with violins. Into the flats we go, down to the river. Oh, throw your heart into its fire, Ohio. Let it melt. I'll be your tug and pull you to the sea. No fool for poetry save me. Rose and red, the rose of the living, rose of the dead. Then fled, sped away, ran the red lights home, where dog breath kisses and whistling kettle finally settled me down in the yellow kitchen chair. There to consider the hard, stark questions like, why am I still here and there while everywhere? Fugitive soldier, refugee feet, go left, go right, repeat, repeat. Despite what all the poetry fools of the school of night may write, left, right, anguish is still the world's official language. Oh, save us stillness, turning into light, awakening the birds, shaping the air with song, these words, this little green prayer, this longing to belong. Morning comes alive as bread, our side door manna fresh from the Israelite, with sinister affection for the enemy and love of Indians and cigars. Dead thunderbolts, tears and ashes, and Title I to disability's privilege as I learned heart to heart in the halfway house from the fox as crazy as a fox. Deep in the manure natural to our time at the root of liberty's tree, the man who exposes himself is full of piss and vinegar while that trespasser, mesmerized by Pygmalion, beats on the wall demanding a polygraph. Each generation casts its own hue, but the source of light is the same, the struggle to be free. Oh, sweet as a chariot on my toe chain of love, sing the hands of a mustache out of control, on a snuggle of wigs out of the west, in a shoplifter's bag upon the floor. Night falls, the apples of sorrow are devoured by the teeth, ha ha. Here's the latest news from the land of smoke and dream. Poet climbs tree, helps hang president in effigy, says poet, we are not alone, and our poems will shake old Rockefeller's bones. The ghosts of anarchists are riding bicycles in Lakeview Cemetery. As unemployed poets, bearded and drunk on leisure, put away their pens and pull out their penises to piss on the obelisk of John D. Rockefeller. They pull out their peckers to pee on John D., not because they are so poor they don't have a pot to piss in, but because John D., that oil-slick, philanthropic prick with the thin smile beneath a plutocratic hat and the thin, shiny dime in his long, bony Baptist grasping capitalist hand, a coin he'd offer as if it were a Eucharistic wafer, through his son and others of the same silky ilk and cold-fish militia mentality. Oh, bloody body of Christ swung low his sweet charity in Ludlow, Colorado, the gun butt to the skull, the boot in the face, everything moving shot up, men dying along with chickens and dogs, the women and children in tents set ablaze, machine gun massacred, all caught in the fiery cave below. Miners and their kin served the hard death again. Miners who dared to stand up and strike. And because his grandson is governor of New York, upholding the family tradition, put a full Nelson on Attica, Attica, Attica. Let's run the tape once more. The chopper drops the gas, the marksmen fire, the troops move in. Men who are not beasts are cut down like beasts. No hostage blindfolded was as blind as his justice. No knife to the throat was as cruel. Oh, pity the women in the eye of the nightmare, and the children of the brothers who died inside. And pity us all in this rocky road, victims of the rocky horror show of those in power who have died inside. Now to discard the skin of darkness of the cellar where I dwell in ambiguity. Up the stairs I rise to wake the moon out of its cold beauty sleep, the ghost snow on the lawn inviting me to live the life of children in the light, in the garden, like desert nomads, the white garments falling through the branches of the tree into a state of grace. No sacrifice of an Isaac nor ram caught in a thicket integrates our hearts. Only this, to awake to dream, can take us beyond our nostalgia for the new and teach our children how poets live. Mouth to hand to mouth, silent as light. A place to brood is where I wish to live, with the bare bones of the wind. It's cool in the forest, she said in a dream, while I cried my ordinary tears. Here amid the stones, the frogs this nightmare freeze. I work my words from dark to light, from dialogue to song. After the race, a scavenger darkness, blackbird picking at the blackened fur. The hare's foot, luck times 4, flatter than the flugy with the floy. Let me balance this with the day's loss, pay my respects to life, to death, and give my heart's breath to the green wood, the fallen rock, the road work ahead. Out of the body, politic dying, nights without bread, led to the carnival knowledge of color at the nip and tuck of the budding revolt. A naked beard and scandalous sandals, I was overcome by the shallow wee town and contrary minds of the city's sprawl. My mustard seed faith moved the mountain on me, and the flowers crushed on the sidewalks of time were my seedy bed partners in crime. Rocks from the cradle and the billy club rub were wisdom cracking the star-spangled fang. After the dog bite, the rabbis returned with plastic priests and pasteurized milk. So I wrapped God's news in an old fish story. And man swung from ape's umbilical cord till guilt edged the serpent under the heel. Bruised legacy and the bootstrap snapped when all the innominate humped the dump bones. When grinding the stones and sticks to fire, while I added an apple off the knowledge tree and turning the other tongue in cheek, slicked my good hair in her down-home desire. Then shifting to high gear in the wilderness streets, where pot and panic handlers begged to differ, of necessity tripping fantastic light, I turned on the system, the dark riders circling. Brother, can you spare a victim? And moved on as thin as a praying mantis, alive again, deadly as sin, on the knit of my grit and grin of my skin. Once in a dream I saw a duel of doves in morning dress, and the doves were one dove. And on the dove's tongue there was a tail, and the tail was of an eagle, and how an eagle grew. And the eagle grew angry, and out of the eagle flew a soft white hand, and in the hand there was a stick, and the stick shook the sun, and the sun split the earth, and the earth turned to dust. Somewhere a voice was lost, somewhere a dream. Am I blue? As blue as the sky that falls once in a blue moon, leaving traces on the trees, these blue woods where the man with the blue guitar, losing his way, points the guitar at the far North Star and plays the blues till he's free. Am I blue? As blue as that blue streak of anger, freedom's great wave to save each endangered tree between the devil and the deep blue sea. Am I that true blue, that free? Once when Liberty Boulevard became Martin Luther King Drive, a troubled woman of color, beautiful, alive, naked, save for a patch of blue over her pubic hair, stirred the air, running without a word down the double yellow lines. A a magnificent act that seemed to say at the same time, free, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. And am I blue? No beekeeper, hooded and gloved, can take the sting from death, nor the love from these streets of grief, our nocturnal deeds inviting an insomnia of strangers. Listen, in the distance, the theater of fire, whose siren cry staggers heaven, whose desire is a river of hands reaching out to what? Lash me to the mast, tie me trembling to the tree. Again in the moonlight I climb the tower, the cupola, the spire. Suddenly a witness, wings of the paraclete beat against the dark, taking care in the air. Breathless, I breathe, oh, hear my broken prayer for our ancient mother, Africa, the mask for my own mother, a woman of sorrows, rooted in the struggle, who first drew me to this solitude, this light. Down, cut down, earthbound, my hands bleeding, lead me the sensuous applause. In the mirror of the ear, vertical rain, white bones dancing, in the teeth of the wind, the saw of thunder. Now, falling dreamward, the door of night ajar, I lie, quiet as a star. Out of loneliness, I have fashioned a bird that does not sing, save when rare occasions bring stark beauty. Then bird and I are one, and we go mad with song and beat our wings. And through imagination's eye, we even fancy we can fly beyond the skin of things. Then Earth's sad face comes round again, reminds us of the cage we're in, and how stark, raving mad we've been to think we're saved by beauty. Light were music, the night earth spinning toward its golden star. And in that turning, the echo of the moon on the water reveals the killer in the mirror, a shadow breathing hard, whose dark weight pitches on the shore, whose heart of glass reads, in case of emergency, break. If light were language, spoken only in tongues by hearts on fire, the wordless eye would sing its blind desire, forgiveness would flow like blood. If light were sound natural to the ground of all beings, would each creature cross the field to comfort each in the deep dreaming. Gray day, white buildings. The free stamp has again been inked in blood. How many Michael Pipkins must be buried in its shadow by the bureaucracies of hands washing each other? Gray day, white buildings. Chief Wahoo dances in the snow. Cleveland's weather is not as cold as her justice, nor her river as crooked as her politicians. Death is in the air, has a chokehold on the city. Gray day, white buildings, we struggle, catch our breath in another night of sorrow. No sleep, no justice, no peace. Long past the bedtime of the wise, past asphalt light, bright as tarnished gold. Under a fog-bound moon, Gonzales and I go to our secret place. There are crickets and stars and witches bloom with room enough for him to run. What fun to watch that black dog move across the long green gulf of grass, lean against the wind. While I attend the shaggy end of things, thistles and birds, weeds, leaves, logs, and broken limbs, chanting and whistling a hymn to him. Go, Gonzales, go. Chase those ghosts with your black magic, ghosts from a grandfather time. They've waited all these years to play. When love comes out the window, the law goes in the door. They want to know, what was that sound? Love, he says, she said, all the way down. He lies, Sod says, I fear foul play. Love's love was a rope of sand, and that was the wrong way. Corrigan replies, to let the love light in her eyes. We charged love with a felony. I disagree, John T., says Love's attorney. Love's love was grand, it just got out of hand. Why, Dave was Adam, Virginia Eve, their only sin, originality. She dangled like forbidden fruit, 3 stories high, and then she fell, and then she died. For what shall love be tried? I suppose if I'd been love, I'd have kept that window closed. Who knows? When love goes out the window, the law comes in the door. They know it when they hear that sound. Love, he cries, she cried, all the way down. Cool in the kingdom of paradox, he treads the endless sea of blues. Frugal Argonaut found fleecing his own echo from the deep. Is underground and paying the rites of passage dues. His mouth of gold coins, rude myths out of sleep. His hands are hard as no mere seaman's. Look, a secret poet, moonlighting on his black machine, his lust and wanderlust into a book to lure each shop-born hard and clean, deceivers and deceit away, those who mocked his quest. His latter catches black as pitch, plain language as alive as death. desperate at the pin-drop quiet of our quicksand in the glass. We are the lost, the transient losers, hurricane in the eye of the haystack needle, riff-raffed and rabble-roused, and honey-eating riddle. We are Jacob and Adam sweating in exile, and the blood donor at the rock cupped in human sleep. It's time now, time to take the tribal trip past the cast of hawks. Some soft morning from the weeping pillow leap the almanac sun whistling in and a host of sparrows, as numbered and remembered as the hairs, the fingertip shadow in the hollow of the thigh, and new names wrestled from the crippling dawn. It's time to go the primal step, over the labor of moles, mountainward to the beat of the bush. The flame-shaped tongue slips off our shoes and weaves us into a mosaic net as talisman against moth, rust, and thieves, and a rough coat against the wind. The bestial mystery grieving in the heart, begin the burning journey down. The hours come. Time's sleight of hand gives death his due at leisure. Under the bridge where you take me, your cricket follows. The lake's on fire with incredible roses, plus for me the sparkle like letters in old movie previews. My mind's empty of coming events except footsteps, an invisible stair, star dances toward the shore. Did I cry out? There's no sound but water. I move toward you. The light follows as if it were my shadow. I reach you. Your head's in the clouds. You're barefooted. There are sharp rocks. Before us love's grave lies, smoke and humor. We've enough rope now, I joke. Let's dance. The universe is coupled to the core. The match that broke the serpent's back and lit the flaming sword is my torch too. The word that in the womb gave form to ooze, that set the syllables ticking in the skull, says language and the blood are one and all. The letters of our sex explode the brain and sharpen into fate our acts of love. Dead faces in the hands still rule the day. They measure out the traffic to the grave. The mirror cracks and slivers in the soul to every marrow of our crooked age. Ah, woman in the crossfire of your room, entertaining King James on your bed. His verses leap and catch you by the heart. You cry out, and the world gives you a stone. Now no strategic air the bones may breathe down long green walking streets of time can shake the dog-eared silence into song or take the salt of sorrow from the wound. What made your head so hard to carry? You laid it on my heart, your head heavy on my heart, then like our crane and levee you left too soon, Calhoun. No more Mozart on a friend's piano, no jazz chords, nor commandments of the Lord. No Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, three bearded bards from our own bleak coast, together on the ward. No moving pieces on the board, nor the board themselves at the smoky tables. No fable, alchemy, philosopher's stone, no song for the rake's broken teeth, no winter's punk choir of trees. All are silent as thieves. Please, the topic for today is simply, is art a disease? Once in the custody of the police, you were taken to a room with nothing. With poetic justice, you called it the nothing room. How unlike your last room with everything, technology to reach the moon. But you flew away in your poetic guise, the night hawk in the sky. Wounded, your wings dipped, the last blood ink fell, a farewell poem, your Valentine in the snow. Through the skin of night to the bone of the naked heart, the wind's a river for the forest of women standing by the water, their hair glorious in the air. Diamond stars, pools of light, leaf fall, electric hum, the weight of the world stacked bound, waiting for newspaper shoulders. The approaching headlights, wet grass, tree lawn, snake branch. The way curves, the hand caressing the moment, silent like a sky. The street is paved with the gold of autumn, fall, and heaven's alchemy. Cat crawl, insect bite, skunk smell, the dense presence of houses where your friend's no longer living, where your friend's no longer dying. You pass by, step over the sidewalk's web, the floating room coughs in the dark, the deaf child sleep. Only in your ear the cricket's song. Homeward the shadows move, your dog shadowing you, the shadow of death remembered. Again the words come, repeat the crime, the cry, ubiquity of love. Rainwater in a bowl, silver tears on a golden leaf. When the good weather comes and the freeze round the rude red ball, nature's in the green, and all our dreams bear witness to our laying burdens down. I wake my love and naked snake, freckle the mole, the tit and hiss, this is it. When revolution comes and marks on workers' backs rise up and crack the whip into a school for social change, so all our marks are lovers' marks, then nothing love may say to do is foolish or is strange. When death comes, sleepy-eyed and sheepish round our door, his wolf fangs caught and muzzled in his mumbling beard, then call the beggar in, treat him as a friend, for all our scapes in love's new light are graced with charm again. Sitting on a stoop outside the Yellow Chicken Co-op coop, just a hop from the Gutenberg machine shop and the Black Pie Company, too. She was lovelier than the sun. I was sure blondes have more funny ways to make me want to say, hey, hey, hey. But you know, she knew I wouldn't stay. And then I never write, that is, I'm not a man of letters, though I try so hard to imitate my betters, like stamping things and string clever feathers in my cap. And I like to meet the girls and boy, snap my fingers and be happy on the map. Then she said before I kissed her, listen, mister, you beware the butterfly. He stuttered he may try to bell the cat. He wants you dressed as Judas Goat, but smelling like a rat. Well, I was glad to help her carry groceries to her pad and use her double mattress as my hideaway, though we knew the troubled butterfly would flutter by someday and I would be a rat and go away and leave her sitting lovelier, sunning on the stoop, just a hop from the shop and the Black Pie Company, too. Rude early morning, leapfrog wind. Fly the mind to the leafless tree. Threadbare hands pick the pockets for heat while the nose follows the hard smell of snow and the sky is blue and white and gray. Rude early morning, church bell wind. Our friend still dressed in Sunday sleep. Look in the windows, rap on the door. Who's there? It's me. Well, please go away. And the sky is crooked and black as sin. Rude early morning, bone cold wind. Rush the heart down streets where I grieve. There a lone sparrow in the truth of snow says, hello, hello. And I say good day. Good day to all lovers still hot on the trail. And the sky is new, bright and gay. Under the map of the world where I sleep, keeping time by the heart worn on the sleeve, worn to the bone with loneliness. I dream I am a stone skipping on the map's lapis lazuli. Oh, dream waters, dream azure. The shadow heart shape disappears. I plumb the dark and secret deep. I ricochet from deja vu. I wake in shock. The reaches of the sea are cruel. Even the broken letters of the heart spell earth. Let the heart beat for the trees, their perfection, the ancient rain, the open spaces along the river, the species that are endangered, the tiger burning bright, the flower, the honeybee, the frozen places of silence, the cruel bottom of the sea, the schools of fish made truant, and in the sky, the ozone's wound and the bird's nest, and the eye that rests on the sparrow. Even the earth of the brokenhearted can heal. Bearing the burden into the wild light. The burden of words into the wild light of the dead stars. Nocturnal poet coming out of sleep on the sweet mare of dream moves beyond the eye and the piety of animals, beyond lost artifice, Edisonian invention, beyond the vehicular theft of silence, to the breath of the dance, to love's profound loneliness. Oh, ancient moon, blood on the moon, tree, leaf, branch, and shadow. We are rooted in the earth's sorrow. We wait for the fall, the axe to fall. This poem, the shining edge of the blade. Woods turn into words, and the words yellow under the sun's thumb into pools of dead air on a dog day in a deaf year. Then women at the river's edge, their hearts beating wildly, smash their lives without permission on the blind rock sharpened by the mind's eye. Broken, bred on silence, their hearts heal in the river's dance, time and again rising in love's anger toward the danger on the map. When justice is a railroad, is the freedom train mere dream? This tear here, the ticket, the destination pain? What travail the travel, trials that never end? Freedom's the air, I want to breathe again. Cold bars, these tracks, my time's running on. Cold is the cash I lack, cold is the stars I wish upon. Each day to stay human, to hold on, to let go. I fly home to your arms, sweet freedom. I touch your face, I wake. When the weather breaks our hearts, when the weather breaks like a river in our hearts, when our broken-hearted river, crooked as a politician, crooked and turning politic, turns its wings southward again, its crooked wings again southward, our river words wing southward turning, all the lies the season calls poetry, all the season's lies again call poetry, flow from me to you anew, flow from you to me, flow anew, when the weather breaks, when the weather breaks, when the weather breaks. When the weather breaks the winter bones of sleep, and waking birds still mirror the heart's silhouette, our broken dreams and theirs becoming song. The beast that licks your face leads you astray down old mud roads to where the milk and honey flow. Wild in the thicket, merry blackberry thief, you go till you drop in an open field, gay as a fiddle, your pockets filled with bouncing bet. In the hardihood of quiet, the tree-making wood, you feel at home. You catch the river in its flux and ease, you apologize to water, you praise the light, God's iron grace, ubiquitous night, you stroke the stone. Oh, blind mole laboring the anonymous earth, your verse is the dove I hold in my heart to heal the wound. Color red along the highway, the steadiness of taillights, the passion of advertisers, red ubiquity in science, tooth and nail, the blade tracks of predators, buildings ablaze. We are dazzled by this red letter night. Is that a neon rose tattooing the brick? Red flags of warning, red ball express, incendiary cargo, the fugitive arsonist, his patriotic gas, the money in his pocket bursts into flame, the red ghost ranges over the lost wilderness, traffic stops in the name of lovely red, chase brass and copper Zega, but oh my favorite, this yellow darkening into red, delicious sun, the peach I eat. Well, here I am, the kid who caught for Loco 2265 a million summers ago on my haunches, late afternoon behind the art museum, green and quiet, with my dogs, the birds, the breeze, the good life, you know. Joggers jogging, bicyclists biking, my dogs chasing them or each other, or shitting, the big one, Josh, running over, barking, scaring some poor guy away from a tree, then pissing on it. Usually we're here under the stars around 3 a.m., just us, the patrol cars, and my ragman roll of cold-eyed musings. Like when I turned 40, my waist was 40. When I was 41, my waist was 41. My age and my waist are keeping pace. So when I'm 69, since I'm 5'9", I'll be 69 always. Of course, I won't be able to perform 69 or any interesting number for that matter. One thing I'll be able to do, though, is throw away my Sohaya credit card. I won't need gas. I'll just roll to where I want to go. Maybe I'll train my dogs to push me along with their noses. It might even become an Olympic event. But right now, having just read in Rolling Stone that women dig ugly men, I'm still ugly enough to sleep with. Turning at the graffito to die of a rose on the wall near the bridge where the rapid runs by Little Italy, the rose having returned after a short-lived itch, I confront in the middle of the road, ready to strike, escape no doubt from last night's flick by Indian Satyajit Ray, a broken tree branch cobra. No lightning has snaked this tree. A drought is upon us. The die of a rose, of love, or the thirst for beauty. Jesus, it's hot. A heat wave drowns us in the high 90s, or has it broken 100, Crow Dog? Crow Dog's come in black, red, and yellow with his ancient smoking pipe, his whistle carved from the bone of an eagle, his dancers in full regalia, the Sherwood Anderson's ancestral ground, stolen from his ancestors. You're our native hope, Crow Dog, to visit the deep being of our dreams, to reverse the Nazarene, to wed us to the land, restoring order to nature, turning the wine of Weinsberg into water, into the dark laughter of rain. The dogs have turned wild since you've gone. The moon blew and my heart in hell is frozen over. It's heaven. Your work is cut out for you when you return. All your calls have stopped save the mimes, and they're good. You can't hear them breathe. Otherwise, everything's business as usual. Only the blind want to read your poems. Only the deaf want to listen. Desert rust, the heat, letters from the heart, spread out, texture out of context, ruderal goo, intimacies of light, snapshots, epiphanies, these stars perhaps dead now. Oh, indecent closure, movement, serpentine marks, returning to the feral darkness, this undertow of blood as ancient as sand, as cherubims guarding Eden. The flaming sword turns, the dream waves undulating, the mind, the breath, nigrescent music, silence in the music of silence, our daily broken rose.